Welcome to the Radio Revenue Podcast. Okay, let's unpack this. Today we're taking a deep dive into Broadridge Financial Solutions, Inc. They're a global financial technology leader that, well, you might not hear about every day, but honestly, their work underpins so much of modern finance. We're sifting through their recent Form 10-K filing that's for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025, to bring you the most vital insights.
Right. And given today's date, August 12, 2025, this filing offers a really fresh, comprehensive look. Broadridge is, in many ways the essential plumbing of the financial world. It's a big document, this 10K. Our mission for you, the listener, is really to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge without overwhelming you. Get straight to the why it matters.
Exactly. Think of it as your shortcut, a way to get truly well-informed about a company that operates at just an astounding scale. We'll uncover what they do, how they manage to consistently drive growth, and maybe some surprising facts about how they stay right at the absolute forefront of financial technology. So let's start with the basics. When we talk about Broadridge, who exactly are they? They describe themselves as a global financial technology leader, powering investing, corporate governance, communications. What does that actually mean in practice, though?
Well, what's truly fascinating, I think, is their history and just the sheer scale. Often goes unnoticed because, like I said, their work is so foundational, so behind the scenes. They've been around for over 60 years, with more than 15 as an independent public company, their core function, providing mission-critical infrastructure and services. So imagine all the back-office stuff, the complex, regulatory-heavy, high-volume tasks that, say, banks, brokers, asset managers need to do, but they maybe don't want to build and maintain all that complex tech themselves. Broadridge steps in. They essentially help their clients operate, innovate, and grow without having to make these massive capital investments in their own tech and back office operations.
Okay, so they're kind of the silent partner enabling financial firms to stay agile, competitive. And this huge operation is structured into two main business segments, right? Investor Communication Solutions, ICS, and Global Technology and Operations, or GTO. These sound like their core pillars.
That's it, ICS and GTO.
Let's start by pulling back the curtain on ICS then. This segment is, well, it's a huge part of their business. Represents about 74% of their total revenues in fiscal 2025. It sounds like it's all about connecting companies, shareholders, regulators, basically facilitating that flow of information that drives corporate governance.
That's exactly right. They manage the entire proxy materials distribution and voting process. This is something every public company, every mutual fund has to do, and believe me, it's incredibly complex. Broadridge handles, well, everything. From electronic and hard copy delivery, managing voter preferences, sending email notifications, to processing proxy votes via telephone, online, mobile, or even, good old-fashioned paper. And just to give you a sense of the sheer volume they manage proxy voting for over 900 million equity proxy positions, just in the last fiscal year alone.
Wow. Over 900 million. It's an astronomical figure. It means Broadridge is literally the central nervous system for shareholder democracy for a huge chunk of the global market. And it's not just about voting, is it? They also offer regulatory communication solutions, centralizing investor communications for global asset managers. Things like composition, printing, filing, distributing regulatory reports, prospectuses, and those new tailored shareholder reports you hear about, ADA compliant, embedded XBRL, the works.
And this is where we get to the why it matters. These new tailored shareholder reports with the ADA compliance, the embedded XBRL. Okay, it sounds technical, but the core insight is that Broadridge isn't just digitizing old processes. They're fundamentally improving how information flows to investors. XBRL, for instance, it's a standardized language for financial data, makes it machine-readable, faster, more accurate analysis by investors, by regulators. So this is about enhanced transparency, efficiency at a whole new level. They processed, over 7 billion investor and customer communications last year, print and digital, and they even provide international corporate governance solutions across Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific. It's global.
Okay, so they're helping clients navigate these ever more complex regulations, communicate effectively with vast global audiences, which frees those clients up to focus on their main job, right?
Yeah.
Investing, rather than the tricky logistics of compliance.
Precisely.
Now, let's shift gears. Let's talk about Global Technology and Operations, or GTO. This is where it gets really compelling, I think, especially for those of us who appreciate the kind of intricate engineering behind how financial markets actually function. They provide mission-critical scale infrastructure.
Okay.
What does that really mean for us, the listener, beyond the jargon?
Okay, so it means they are a leading software as service provider, SaaS. They automate the entire front-to-back transaction lifecycle for capital markets, for wealth management firms. So literally from the moment an order is initiated, say, on a trading desk, right through to its final settlement and record keeping, Broadridge's platform handles it. And this covers a huge range of assets: equities, mutual funds, fixed income, foreign exchange, exchange-traded derivatives, you name it. When we say mission critical, we really mean it. They provide the robust foundational technology that capital markets just cannot function without. It lets firms focus on their core business without these massive internal tech builds and maintenance headaches.
That sounds incredibly complex and really high stakes. Can you give us a sense of the scale we're talking about here, the sheer scale?
Yeah, absolutely. They process trades, clearance, settlement in over 90 markets globally. And get this, in fiscal year 2025, they processed an average of over $15 trillion in equity and fixed income trades per day.
15 trillion a day.
Per day. It's an almost unfathomable figure. Really underscores their position as like an invisible public utility for finance. Plus, they provide fixed income trade processing services to 21 of the 25 primary dealers in the U.S. Now, these are the huge financial institutions that trade directly with the Federal Reserve. So that just shows Broadridge's deep roots right at the heart of the U.S. financial system.
$15 trillion a day. That volume alone tells you something about their immense competitive moat, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're not just handling volume, they're also embracing next-gen tech to stay ahead.
Indeed, they have to. They're leveraging distributed ledger technology, DLT. A good example is their distributed ledger repo platform, the DLR platform. It uses, well, think blockchain-like tech, makes short-term lending of securities much more efficient, much more transparent between institutions. They're also integrating artificial intelligence. New solutions like Bond GPT and ICS GPT. These are basically AI-powered tools designed to automate and enhance tasks around bond trading and general financial operations, streamlining complex workflows. All these innovations, they're designed to drive more efficient trading, help clients adapt to market changes, like the big shift to T+1 settlement.
Right, P+1. That means trades settle one day after they're executed.
Right.
Demands even faster, more resilient infrastructure, I imagine.
Exactly. More pressure, more speed needed.
Okay, so with such critical roles in both communication and transaction processing, how does all this translate into their financial health? Broadridge saw some pretty impressive financial performance in fiscal 2025, didn't they?
They did. Total revenues were up 6% to $6.9 billion. Net earnings jumped a significant 20% to nearly $840 million. Diluted earnings per share also up 21% to $7.10. And a particularly strong sign, I think, of steady business is their recurring revenues. That grew a solid 7%. It really demonstrates the sticky nature of their client relationships, the essential services they provide. People don't leave easily.
Yeah, that recurring revenue is key. And what's really compelling here, I think, is how they connect that operational success directly to their people, their culture. They track specific operational metrics, sure, like 16% growth in equity positions eligible for proxy, 13% internal trade growth. But here's the really interesting part. They tie a portion of every single associate's incentive compensation to client satisfaction goals. That's a direct, measurable link between employee engagement, client happiness, and ultimately shareholder value. It's quite clever.
It is, and it raises a crucial point. How do you cultivate a workforce that can deliver on these critical, high-volume, high-stakes operations day in, day out? Their human capital strategy seems, well, designed to tackle that head-on. They provide extensive training through something called Broadridge University, career advancement programs, leadership development, even an AI academy to keep their tech talent sharp. And it seems to be working. In the last fiscal year, 83% of their associates said Broadridge is a great place to work. That's a high number. They also offer comprehensive health, safety, wellness benefits, flexible work options, and on-site wellness center at their New York facility.
So a strong, engaged workforce isn't just like a nice to have for them. It sounds like a key ingredient in their success recipe, essential for ensuring high client satisfaction and driving growth in what must be an incredibly demanding sector.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, but every large company faces challenges. Broadridge, in their filing, they openly identify several risks. What are they worried about? Things like cybersecurity incidents. They mentioned they've had non-material ones, but it's got to be an ongoing threat in their line of business, right?
Absolutely. Cybersecurity is huge for any financial services tech provider. They also mention complexities of global economic and political conditions, intense competition, standard stuff for a global player, but still significant. And they also highlight the constant need to adapt. rapid technological advancements like AI, machine learning, cloud computing, if they can't keep pace or if they can't attract and retain the really highly skilled people in these cutting edge areas, well, that could certainly impact future growth. Plus, they're subject to this evolving, kind of fragmented legal and regulatory landscape around AI specifically, which presents its own unique challenges.
All right, the AI regulation piece is tricky everywhere, but they're clearly not just, standing still. They're making moves. They recently announced a proposed acquisition, didn't they? Acolin Group Holdco Limited, that's a European provider of cross-border fund distribution, regulatory services, looks like a strategic move to expand that ICS segment internationally, deepen their global footprint.
Exactly, expanding ICS reach in Europe. And they're still integrating past acquisitions too, like Kyndryl Securities Industry Services business they bought in 2024. That bolstered their wealth offerings up in Canada. It shows they're committed to integrated solutions right across their platform. And financially, look, their board just approved an increase in the quarterly cash dividend, up to Nora 0.9725 per share. Projects an annual dividend of $3.90 per share. That signals real confidence from inside the company about ongoing performance and financial stability.
Okay, strong signal there. So let's wrap this up. What does this all mean for you, the informed listener? If Broadridge, this global financial technology leader, keeps innovating with AI, with distributed ledger tech, while just deepening its roots across every layer of the financial ecosystem, what unforeseen changes might this bring to the very structure, maybe even the accessibility of global financial markets in the next decade? Think about how something so fundamental, so embedded, could reshape the entire landscape. Something to ponder. It was a Revenue Radio podcast. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay updated with our latest analyses.